What is going on out there in the Dinarian world? Man, there's been kind of a weird, eerie kind of quietness going on considering there is a lot happening right now. It's really weird. And in our community, not a lot of people are talking. And here's my theory on this. And that is, we know it's coming close to crunch time. A lot of people have pulled the trigger saying that they think this rate change is going to happen at the end of March or sometime in the beginning of April. And this is just one so-called dinar guru. There's been several. Now, I told you before, I felt the same way, and that is something was going to happen by the end of March, maybe no later than the beginning of April. Now, I had this hunch last year. I said last year I thought they're going to pull the trigger on her, but it was with good reason. All right, let me kind of share what I'm talking about. So real quick, let's just kind of get caught up on some of the latest news. So it looks to me like there's three candidates for prime minister finally. Okay, finally, and over there in Iraq. An informed political source revealed that the seven committee charged with testing the prime minister settled on three names to form the new government. My, have we fallen so much from this time last year. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. But anyways, finally, maybe we're going to come up with a prime minister that everybody can agree on. I still think the smart move is just to go ahead and dissolve the parliament. Parliament gets in the way with everything. When you have too many people that are in charge of making decisions and these people have been fighting with each other for hundreds of years, it makes it near impossible to get anything accomplished. All right. So anyways, so it looks to me like they have three names that they're getting ready to put forward. Let's hope that one of these clicks and it happens. All right. Anyways, let me get past this. And a quick reminder to everybody, if you haven't already, I say this every video. I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. The link to this Facebook group, I'll leave in the description of the video. Feel free to go there and join the group. It's for free. That's right. It costs free $99. So for free, you can come in here, and in here is all kinds of information on the Iraqi dinar as well as the Vietnam dong, cryptocurrencies, which I don't know about you guys, but in my group, we were monitoring that, and I told a lot of people, watch, when it gets down low enough, buy on the dip if you're smart. You guys really need to buy on a dip. And then I think once it got around 11 cents, I said, yeah, look it, that's it. I can't wait no more. And I jumped all over it. Now it's up to between 15 and 16 cents. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you own thousands and thousands of those things, it's a pretty good movement. All right. So if you're interested in buying cryptocurrencies, because there's still a lot of growth opportunity there, especially over these next couple of months. In my opinion, there's a lot of growth that's going to be happening right before the middle of May, which is the Bitcoin halving takes place. So I encourage individuals, if you have some discretionary money, in my opinion, I just say you might want to look into getting some cryptocurrencies. If you want to buy cryptocurrencies, I leave a link in my description. Just follow the link, and if you follow the link, they'll give you free $10 just for joining. All right, that's not too bad. I'll take $10 for free. Okay, anyways, go in the description, and there's a link to Pimpy's Investment Chat Facebook group, as well as to account where you can set up your cryptocurrencies. Okay. Anyways, look at this article. It comes from March 20th of last year. All right, March 20th of last year. What was going on? This is how close we were, and this is why I thought it was going to happen last April. Look at this. The Parliament Financial Committee tends, during the current legislation term, to put in place mechanisms to change the financial and monetary policies in the country in coordination with the Central Bank of Iraq, aimed at raising the dinar exchange rate. Raising the dinar exchange rate. So you see, remember, the government was established. There was like one or two positions that were missing. We were waiting for it. Everybody's ready to move into Chapter 8. Everything was so close. It just was. So the point I'm trying to make is this. I get a lot that's happened over in Iraq. We get that. We know the protesters are upset, and I join them. I agree with them. There's no reason for the ninth wealthiest nation in the world to be where they are. And I'm going to make a point about that wealth as it relates to the exchange, all right? There's no reason for these people to be suffering. There's no reason for the purchasing power to be as low as it is, all right? But anyways, it's just, I remember this article, and last year I was telling everybody, we don't usually do dates or rates, but I said, you know what, I think they're close. There was lots of reasons to feel why this was going to happen last year, and this is one of the articles you can see right here. They were getting ready to raise the dinar rate, and I thought, oh, it's getting ready to happen anytime. And it says, and it went on to say that the committee will go during the current legislation term towards changing the fiscal and monetary policy in the general or in the country general. So the physical policy. Physical, what does that mean? Fiscal policy. I had a feeling that, again, and me and Jeff talked about this in our first live video together. I remembered that Iraq had its fiscal year ended at the end of March and started in April, which lined up with the Arab Monetary Fund. And so I was making a point, and somebody got kind of bent about it, and it was nice enough to Jeff to kind of do a lot of research to go in to find out that, in fact, their fiscal period it did start in April at one time. But, this is what I had a feeling was happening. They were getting ready to implement a new fiscal period. It was supposed to start on April the 1st of 2019. And during that time, they would change the rate. This is why I made that bold prediction. And people go, what about this year? Do you think it's for the same reason? I think it's going to happen again this time. So the point I'll show you what I'm trying to, the point I'm trying to make is this. It's just crazy how this time last year, we only needed a couple of cabinet amendments. Now we need a whole entire prime minister, including the government, and then the passing of the budget. And they were ready to raise the rate, okay? And it just didn't happen. Anyway, so let's just move on to something interesting, okay? This is the IMF Monetary Fund. They keep track of all the holdings, as well as a lot of other information for each country, okay? Now, the interesting thing about this is here, this has been updated February 29, 2020. You can go in here and it's going to show you all the holdings. This is IMF holds the currency for different countries, all right? Let me show you something. This is the holding of currencies from January 1st, 2020 through February 29th of 2020 so far. Look at how much they're holding for Iraq. This is securities, accounts that they have, and everything else. Look at this. 2,977,137,580. All right. The point I'm trying to make is this. The IMF seems to be holding an awful lot of currency for Iraq. Very interesting. Okay, anyways, I wanted just to point this out because this carries me over to something else. People who are constantly making an argument that the rate change is never going to happen. The rate change is never going to happen. I did a video in there in which the United Nations Security Council said as plain as day during one of their meetings, their goal is to go ahead and reinstate the rate at which the Iraqi dinar was prior to them lowering the rate, which was 322. So you have to ask yourself, what has changed since the rate change has taken place? What's different? Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is the current rate right now, as in April 30th, 2019. Yes, that's the real rate. I know they say 0.0084, but this is the actual rate, okay? Now let me show you something. If you come on trucking down here, look at what it used to be. See this? We know what happened here. We know what happened here, and they got put on the sanctions. The point I'm trying to make is if the currency was always this rate, then it got slapped with sanctions, and this is where we are now. What has changed besides the sanctions between this type of rate and this rate here? So somebody want to explain to me how it is that you can say the rate is never going to increase and get up to where it was at one time? When in fact, it used to be above $2. There's no reason for it not to be reinstated up there again. Now, I've made my pitch for why I think it's going to be at $1.34, and I'll stick to it still. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see it go up above $2. I would love to see it be reinstated as 322 rate. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Okay, the sanctions happened, which caused it to lower its rate. It's the ninth wealthiest nation in the world. It has tons of oil reserves as well as a bunch of other raw materials that are just not being tapped into right now. So there's no reason for this rate not to get back up to the where it was before and not to pass it up. All right, there's nothing. The only difference is they're under sanctions right now. And as soon as, well, actually, they're not even under sanctions anymore, to be honest with you. I told you guys in another video, I found out they're not even under sanctions. Okay? So what are we waiting for? We're just waiting for their currency to be recognized internationally. As soon as they're recognized internationally, they can start doing business abroad again. I mean, they are on a limited basis, but the truth is they're being restricted because they can't, their currency is not recognized internationally. It was told to me that the truth is they're not a real sovereign nation without their own currency. And right now, although they have a currency, it's not being recognized internationally. Therefore, they don't have their own currency. Okay? Anyways, smash the like button if you agree with me. Look, if it was here before, there's no reason for it not to get back there again, okay? We saw this article. They were getting ready to raise the, getting ready to raise the exchange rate at this time last year. We were so close. Does it just make you want to pull your hair out? Don't do that. I'm just kidding. Some of you can't afford that. Okay, anyways, so I was kind of going back and forth with somebody. We went over this, and they seen my point, and I'm just curious if you guys seen it as well. Look, there's no reason for it not to get there again. They are the ninth wealthiest nation in the world. They have tons of oil, tons of raw resources that have not even been tapped into, not to mention all the growth opportunity. They just need to start rebuilding their infrastructure and get their butt going is what it needs to do. All right, as you can see over here, an article from The Guardian. Now, I also pumped this theory out about why all of a sudden all these banks, these central banks, are operating at 0% interest or in some cases even negative. All right, here's my theory on this. I think the central banks know their butts are in trouble. I really do. They're not trying to save the economy. I think they're trying to allocate their money out to different areas to keep it from getting taken or whatever's coming. People are like, well, how are we going to afford to do all these things? Easy. We know the central banks have been involved. And for those you don't know, the central banks are not government-owned banks. They are privately owned banks. All right. They're owned by the bank families for decades. JP Morgan's, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the whole nine yards. Look, it's the same group of people. They own these banks in all these different countries, and they are the bank cartel. They're not there on our behalf. They're there just to get rich off of us. But I have a feeling they know something's coming up. There's something coming up. I don't know how to explain it, but it seems to me like they are allocating their money out to all these different countries, claiming that they're just trying to help keep the market liquid. I don't think that's what they're doing. I think, in my opinion, they know some crap's about to hit the fan, and they are trying to offload as much of their money as possible, claiming that they're lending it out at 0 to negative interest rate. I think that's just their way of begging different institutions that are not related to the bank, companies, organizations, to just hold their money until they can find out what the hell is going on. They seem to be getting rid of their money. All right, some of you out there know a little bit more about this than I do, but I can't help but notice that all these banks are doing all the wrong things in this critical economical crisis. And I'm not just talking about the coronavirus. The economy was already collapsing all around us prior to the coronavirus. The coronavirus is just another excuse, in my opinion, to explain why the market's crashing. It was already crashing all around us. But I think, have no doubt about it, the United States should have the right, since we brought up the Federal Reserves as the entity that would be responsible for our money, which is ironic. That's like taking the money out of your right pocket, lending it to your left pocket, and charging yourself interest. It doesn't make sense. So I think there's enough information out there to prove that these people have been doing some corrupt stuff for decades, and this would be a great excuse that world leaders can use to just literally take the money, call it a bail-in from these. If they could do it from other banks, why can't they do it to the Federal Reserve? It is a bank. They should not be exempt from this type of stuff. Take all their money and just say it's for the benefit of the people in times of economical hardship. I think these central banks know this. I think they're just trying to find stupid ways to stash their money in different locations. This is just my opinion. I have no proof of that. I just think it's weird that there's a lot of strange activity happening with central banks. All right. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, because for them to be negative 0% interest seems to me like that's their way of enticing friends of theirs to hold large amounts of their money. You know what I mean? But if the governments are going to do what I call the bail in, if they bail in, they take money from banks, and they just then there's no reason for them to find out on the books where all the money went and just go ahead and just take it back. Okay. Anyways, I just thought I would share this with you because, again, look, we were so close last year. Look at us, so close last year to them raising the rates. All right. I also wanted to show you that there's a large amount of money being held in the IMF. This is just the IMF by themselves for Iraq. Iraq's IMF holdings. This is only in with the IMF. That's not including other. BIS has some of their money. I know our Federal Reserve has Iraqi dinars. I know other banks have Iraqi dinars. I just think it's interesting. Anyways, so I just thought I would share this with you. So I know there's not a lot going on out there, people. Just stay patient. I mean, it seems to me like there's a lot of nothing going on. There's a lot of news going on, but it seems to be about nothing. So I'm just watching to see if anything is really going to pop off. I know a lot of people are hoping and praying that over the next 2 weeks something pops off. I agree. I don't think there's any reason for them to be holding off on this rate change, other than the fact that they really do need some stability in there and need some outside investors to get in there and start helping Iraq rebuild. So with Iran desperately following the orders of John Kerry and the people he represents to keep bombing Iraq and bombing U.S. people just to pull us in a war so they can use it as an election point, that's ridiculous. And Iran knows they're stupid for pulling this kind of stunt. They stand no chance. It took literally the United States 3 days to wipe out the third largest powerful army in the world in Iraq. 3 days. What do you think is going to happen to Iran? Seriously, it might be good. Keep provoking them, good. Because then what we could do is just loosen or actually end the grip that Iran has on all these different countries. Syria, you know what I mean, Yemen, all these proxy wars are fighting, Afghanistan, Iraq, you know what I mean? This would be a great opportunity. Look, we just stop that there and end the money flow. We're good to go. Anyways, hit the thumbs button. Hit the thumbs up button if you agree with me that, hey, look, this was the rate. Hit the thumbs up button if you agree with me that there's no reason for it not to get back to this. All right. Leave a comment also. Let me know what you think. You know, it was this for a long time. It wasn't until they got put on sanctions, and now they're not being recognized internationally. I think is really what the big effect is right here. Once they are back onto Forex and people start investing in their currency on a known exchange, a foreign exchange platform, this is going to benefit them anyways. All right, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'm almost at 5,000. I want to thank everybody out there for taking part of this and hit a subscribe button. Really close. I appreciate all your time. I know you have the opportunity to choose to be elsewhere, but you choose to be with me, and I just want you to know I appreciate that. All right? Talk to you later. Bye.